I apologize, folks. Running a few minutes late. There's a story coming out that is really something. One of Trump's nominees is going down in flames. Let's dig into it. Morning. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. We got a lot going on today, and I tell you, one snuck up on me that I did not see coming. I kind of lost track about this since the last time we talked about this guy. This is Paul Ingrassia. He is Trump's nominee to head the Office of Special Counsel over at DOJ. He's currently serving as the White House liaison to the Department of Justice. He's 30 years old. He's got no experience. He's just another unqualified bigot, basically. He's a right-wing internet troll. He's associated with the Tate brothers, and he has no experience for the job. He doesn't. He's a right-wing nutter, and that's all you have to be in the Trump world. It's all you've got to be. Well, his nomination just went down in flames. I haven't pulled it yet, but they're going to. This just broke. He, while serving as White House liaison to the DOJ on a trip with a subordinate, female subordinate, canceled her hotel room. And as they were checking in, informed her that she would be staying in his room. Yeah. Yeah. She was, she's not one of us, folks. She's not a lefty. She's not a Democrat. She is part of the team, and she considered Ingrassia to be a friend. And yeah, she wasn't down for this. She protested and said, "Hey, wait a minute. I need my own room, this, that, and the other." But they were friends, so she didn't want to push it. So she ended up staying in the room where they slept in separate beds. But it went badly enough that his friend actually filed a grievance, and there's now an official investigation opened up into sexual harassment over this event. So yeah, this is, you could be a bigot in the right-wing sphere, but being an open out creep like that's not going to fly. He's done. He's over. Zero experience, unqualified for the job, nothing but a right-wing shit poster, basically. He pals around with people like Nick Fuentes and the Tate brothers, who are anti-Semitic as hell. And now there's an open investigation into him being a creep. Imagine the balls it takes. You had drunk Ronnie Jackson do the same thing. Similar thing. He shows up at a subordinate's hotel room, drunk off his ass, giving her the old, "You want to go hook up in my room?" Come on, man. Come on. But to have the balls to cancel her hotel room and then just turn around and tell her, "You're staying with me." Come on, man. Come on. This is not going to fly. It's so, I don't even know the right word for it. I don't even know the right word for it. Jesus, you're walking in to the Ritz-Carlton Orlando, and then you find out your boss has canceled your hotel room and you're staying with him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is just I don't even know what is the right word for that. I mean, help me out, people. I mean, this is a live show. Come on. I mean, give me something. Somebody give me something. I don't even know the right word for that besides just it's beyond gross. It's this is who MAGA is. This is who these people are. There you go. There you go. Rapey and entitled. Those are good. Those are those are good. Oh God. If you're watching this on replay, you got to open up the chat panel because this is a community show and the folks in there just nailing it. Hegsething. That's a good one. That is a good one. But yeah, that is the Trump regime in a nutshell. But we've got some good news, folks. We do. We've got some good news. Uh, Trump has been, one second. Trump's order to send troops into Chicago has been given the out. You're done. You're done. He's losing the messaging battle. The judge in the case said, look, you've got to, told the government's attorney, he says, you're sitting here saying that you need troops there because there's going to be a rebellion. There is no rebellion. There's no proof of a rebellion. This is ridiculous. It is bad when you're an attorney standing before a judge and the judge is basically calling you a liar. I mean, it is bad. And it is because of you folks. It is. It's because of you folks. It's like the Portland Frog. Whoever's in those frog uniforms and the blow-ups with. I mean, and now it's just spread everything. We've got raccoons out there. We've got unicorns out there. Just the imagery. I'm telling you, narrative is everything. Narrative is everything, and you people are killing it. You are killing it. You've got a demented, it shows just how insane Trump is. It shows how out of his mind he is. When the American people sit and watch the president of the United States sit there and say that our cities are on fire, that they're overrun riddled with crime and it's just dangerous. And then you people come along and you post your images. Well, I was just at the marathon here in Portland and it was kind of nice, when pictures of the cafes. And then when they show the protests and it's just a couple dozen people and they're dressed in frog outfits and bananas and raccoons and the juxtaposition of these two narratives is everything, people. It is everything. And we are destroying the Trump administration and their bullshit, hyperbolic, over the top nonsense about, oh my God, here, our cities are horrible. No, American cities are beautiful. They are. They are beautiful. I mean, we've got a lot of infrastructure work to do and things like that because Republicans have been hamstringing us for a while. Don't get me wrong. There's work to be done. There's always work to be done. But American cities are peaceful and beautiful places. Crime has been falling for what, couple decades now? I mean, it is you folks that are killing it. You are 100% killing it. Squid Pope here says, absolute algo win today. Found your channel this morning. You immediately reminded me of my 5th grade teacher and the kind of Texan we need more of. Hey, I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here. And thank you for supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. I'm truly grateful. Yes, Auntie Lou, mock them. 100% mock them. When they say stupid, crazy shit, mock them. And it's important, folks. It is important. You've got the president of the United States who has access to one of the best intelligence just I mean, it's not just a community, it's the entire apparatus. No other country on earth has the satellites, the communications abilities, the human on top of the SIGINT. Nothing compares to what we do and our intelligence communities do. They just don't. When you talk about just wanting to just get information, we're as good as it gets. We really are. I mean, that money buys you something. It does. The fact that we spend, 50 times what anybody else spends, you get something for that. So the president of the United States wanting to know what's going on in Portland, he can know, pretty much well instantly. He can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I need data on," and it shows up lickety split, man. I mean, it's fast. It is fast. And to have the president sit there in front of a camera and just make such deluded, crazy, insane statements like Portland doesn't put glass in their windows anymore. They just board them up. When it's just easily verifiable. And kudos to you people. The minute he said that, the pictures came out all over the place. I mean, just all over the place. Just the pictures just exploded of beautiful Portland. The man is detached from reality. I know a lot of folks want to say, well, he's just lying. He's just lying for the no, he's really not there anymore. He's not. He's living in his own delusions now. And that's dangerous. He's the president of the United States of America. Like it or not, I hate the son of a bitch, but he is crazy. He is not there anymore. And it doesn't help that he has people around him. You had Kristi Noem, who, she's dumb as a box of hair. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if you've ever seen her try to make her way through a press conference where she actually has to answer questions or anything like it. Doesn't happen. She's dumb as a box of hair. She really is. If you ever listen to her speak contemporaneously, it's painful. It is. It's really painful. She was put in that position because they thought she was pretty. That's it. That's the whole reason she was there. She was put there because MAGA thinks she's pretty and they parade her around. Not because she's running DHS. She is not running DHS. She is not. There are people, MAGA people all around her that are running DHS, but Kristi Noem is not running DHS. She is nuts. I mean, she is. And she sat there and said to the American people that they've arrested somebody who's the girlfriend of the founder of Antifa. And that they're going to prosecute her till she gives up the information on Antifa. There is no Antifa. There is no Antifa. She compared Antifa to ISIS. Folks, ISIS has leadership. It has a command and control structure. It has training camps. It has relationships with arms suppliers. It has relationships with governments. It is an entity. It is a real entity. Antifa is an idea. It's opposition to fascism, anti-fascism. There is no anything, no girlfriend. There's none of it. She makes it up whole cloth. Now, do I believe that they've arrested somebody and they're probably going to try to hang them out to dry for their narrative? Sure. And that's what worries me. I want to know who this woman is that they think that they have that's the girlfriend of the founder of Antifa. I want more information on her because she needs our help. She needs our help. But this delusional stuff they're saying, you've got a president who has lost his damn mind, surrounded by people more than willing to just invent bullshit, just more than willing just to make it up as they go. Meanwhile, folks, the world keeps spinning and the world has problems, real problems. Lincoln says the opposite of fascism is democracy. Basically, Trump wants to label those who believe in democracy as terrorists. This makes Trump a fascist. It's that simple. Amen, brother. Well said. Well said. Well said, sir. Well said. You know, there's a lot of things going on in this world that just, we've got to have competent leadership. We've got to have competent leadership. This is Myanmar. Let's go to the map so we know where we're talking about. This is Myanmar. Stick with me. This is going to be heartbreaking. There's a region right here in Myanmar. Sorry, somebody slipped me a note. This is the Rakhine State right here on the coast. This is the Rakhine State right here down here on the coast. Myanmar's a Buddhist country. Just give you an idea where we are in the world. Myanmar is an overwhelmingly Buddhist country. Here's India, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Southeast Asia. You get the general location that we're talking about. Myanmar is a Buddhist country. It is. There's like 50 million plus Buddhists there, 52 million Buddhists that live in there. It's overwhelming. Well, it has a Muslim minority population, the Rohingya. There's estimates between 600,000 to about 1.2 million Rohingya that live there. And they have been driven into camps. They have been driven into camps. And it is brutal and it is ugly. This is a picture. This is a story done by the New York Times back when the New York Times actually did stories. This is from 2014. Nicholas Kristof actually went there to take a look at it. That's what the kids looked like then when they were locked into these camps. And they have been compared over the years as they've continued on to concentration camps. I mean, the worst of the concentration camps. They haven't aged well. This has been going on for a very, very long time. And the conditions there are horrific. They are. And the only way that these people used to get food was us. We forced Myanmar to allow us through USAID to ship food in. I mean, these places are just squalor. They are. They're just squalor. I mean, they're horrific. I mean, just horrific. You know, people are comparing them to concentration camps. I'm like, damn, I've never seen concentration camps that look that bad. I mean, these places are awful. They really are. And now the kids are starving to death. Literally starving to death. We used to feed them. We were the people that kept these children alive. You know, people like to say we can't be the world police. You know, we can't get into every conflict. And Lord knows that's a region that we don't want our troops on the ground in. We don't. But when we can use our influence to try to save people's lives, I mean, there's no other way around it. I mean, there's no other way to get these people food. They can't farm in these camps. They can't. They're there to die, and there's nobody else doing it. But priorities. This is what USAID did, folks, and they just destroyed it because a bunch of oligarchs wanted a tax cut. And the Republicans were more than willing to say, hey, yeah, priorities. My donor that pays for my steaks and Merlot, my donors that pay for my private club memberships here in DC, they want a tax cut. You know, like I said, screw them kids. The world doesn't stop spinning because we've got an insane president who's lost his mind, who's both physically and mentally unfit for the job. The world doesn't stop spinning, folks. And things just keep going on, and it's getting crazier and crazier. We just saw this. They've indicted Leticia James, and I talked about this before. They refused the actual prosecutors that were professional prosecutors, even though they were partisan Republican appointees, refused to indict her because there's no case there. Just a cliff notes of what's going on. Leticia James bought a second home. On her mortgage, she said, "Hey, I want to live here. This is going to be my second home." Then she rented the place out. They have to prove in this case what was in her mind when she bought the home. Did she intend to have it as a second home for herself and then just change her mind because of circumstances? Probably. Probably. She's had issues with her parents, and there is no case here. She's going to dominate this case. It's a malicious prosecution from a man who's lost his damn mind and demanding things be done that the professionals around him will not do. They are resigning in protest. But there is no case here. It's like the Comey case. We discussed the Comey case. I mean, and before I go to the Comey case, let me also add, U.S. attorneys don't take every case. There's a threshold. There's fiscal responsibility within the U.S. attorney's office. There are not enough U.S. attorneys to prosecute every crime. There just aren't. And if you bring a case, I've talked to special agents that have had cases that are dead to rights, proven. They go, they sit down with the U.S. attorney, and they say, "I have my case. Here's my evidence. Got it. It's a lock." And the U.S. attorney says, "I've got a threshold of $75,000. This case does not have $75,000 in damages. Take this case to a local prosecutor." Good case, by the way. Great job. I can't justify this case because I have $1.2 million worth of damages against the American people here. I've got $5 million worth of damages against the American people here. I've got much larger cases on my plate. I can't make room on my plate for this case that is less than $75,000. The total damages that they're claiming in the Leticia James case is $18,000. No U.S. attorney would take that case. They just wouldn't. Even if they had a case, they wouldn't take the case. It would be fiscally irresponsible. Where's the bar association? That is what's in the future, man. Et tu, Brutus. Good point. Great point. This is why I love. I'm telling you, folks, if you're watching the show, you must. If you're on replay, you must have the chat panel up. The conversations going on in the chat are just. You've got it is a community show. You've got to watch what's going on in the chat panel. Exactly, Brutus. This is going to end up at the Bar Association. Lindsay Halligan is going to end up losing her law license. Trump will probably die of old age before he sees any consequences out of this. But you know what? This is where I'm at. And you tell me if I'm wrong here. You tell me if I'm wrong here. But this is the way I feel about it. About them bringing this case. Good. Because let me tell you what Texas Paul is doing. Texas Paul is building relationships within the Democratic Party. I am working my ass off for Democrats. I am. I am a Democrat. I am a hyper-partisan Democrat. And what I'm going to do in 2028 is I'm going to cash in every chip I've got. And I'm going to demand an attorney general that is partisan as fuck. And I am not going to let Trump just go off quietly. If he survives to 2028, which I don't think he will, I want him prosecuted to the day he dies. He set the precedent here. There is no crime there. There is no crime. You can't know what was in Leticia James's mind. And you had to have to prove this is fraud. You would have to have a letter written to her from her saying, "Oh, I never intend to live in this house. I'm just going to fill out this mortgage paperwork," which, by the way, this is the other hilarious part about this is the only reason this would fly is with anybody that has never had a mortgage, that has never gotten a mortgage. You don't walk in and say, "I want a mortgage structured this way." No, you walk in, they take a look at what you qualify for, what you're buying, and they tell you, "This is the mortgage you need." There is no case there. There is no case there without being inside her mind and being able to prove that she actually intended to never ever live in this house. Because you don't know. She may have intended for this to be her second residence. And then something came up and delayed that. She said, "Well, you know what? I'm not going to be able to move in immediately. Let's rent it for a while till I can move in." Not fraud. You can't prove any of it. And the fact that it doesn't meet the minimum thresholds for that office to bring cases dollar-wise proves it's malicious prosecution. I am not in the place where I want to be on the high road. I want to thank Tony Polkerbrecht for this flag. Tony's out there busting his ass, harvesting his crops right now. He's the one that mailed me this flag. I'm truly grateful, Tony. Thank you. This is a great flag. He had this. He took the image off. Took our image offline and had it put on a flag. Just, I mean, that is taking the initiative, my friend. But I'm okay with it. Kath, I am a USA veteran. I am Antifa. My father and uncles who served in World War II were Antifa. Amen. I'm Antifa too. I am Antifa, 100%. But yeah, when we go into this next administration, scorched earth. Scorched earth. You set the tone. You set the bar. You set the bar. I will not raise it. Nope. And kudos to the Democrats, the Democratic Party, for coming around to the fact that they can no longer be held hostage in these negotiations. I don't want to get sidetracked, but yeah, the Democratic Party is changing, and I think for the better. Sugar Glider Forest, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting the show. I don't know, folks. This is. We'll do a little roundtable on this. Where are you folks on this? I'm not cringing. I'm not hiding. Do it. Do it. James Comey is dog walking Lindsay Halligan, pardon me. Just dog walking her. She's an idiot. When she filed this indictment against Leticia James, she wrote Brooklyn, New Jersey on the paperwork. Brooklyn, New Jersey. Last time I checked, Brooklyn was in New York. But hey, she's not bright. I don't want to be on the high road anymore, people. I don't want to be on the high road. I don't. I want to do to them what they do to us, or worse. Or worse. There is so much corruption in the Republican Party. I don't want to go back to the high road where we do this. I want our next attorney general to be remembered historically as vindictive. John Wilming, you have got to fight fire with fire. Amen, brother. Amen. Seems like I'm not, I like to check myself with you folks. Seems like I'm not out on the woods on this one. I think everybody's ready for this fight because my thoughts are bring it. Patrick Fitzgerald is James Comey's lawyer, and he is just destroying Lindsay Halligan, just destroying her. They're filing a motion for dismissal, and it may happen. It may just get dismissed for abusing the grand jury process. Yeah. Because apparently she was too selective in what she presented to the grand jury. Because the only witness they have in the case doesn't help their case. They misrepresented the evidence that they had. Because the only witness they have against James Comey says, James Comey told me I couldn't leak this to anybody. That this was a personal conversation between the two of us. I made the choice against his wishes and leaked this to the press because I thought it was important. That is his testimony to the FBI. So yeah, bring it. Keep it up. Keep doing it. Keep doing this shit. Open that door for me. Because when I turn my dogs loose on you, oh yeah, you're corrupt bastards. We've already convicted Trump. We've already convicted Trump. His crimes are provable. So yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Crafty Ash, Donald completely changed the Republican Party. We can completely overhaul the Democratic Party. Keep lassoing and pulling left, Texas Paul. So appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you for supporting the show, Crafty Ash. I really appreciate it. All you new supporters, man, you're the only reason I can do this. I mean, full time. I can't dedicate my time full time to this without your support. I mean, y'all have made it possible. When I started this, it was a part-time endeavor because I couldn't afford to focus on this full time. Now I can because of you. Melinda Hirsch, thank you for being here. Thank you. Diane Briggerage, hey, Paul, here with you. Hey, glad to always see you here, my brother. But, again, that's not anger talking. That's not. It's a matter of strategy for me. I don't want to see the next Democratic administration to go back to norms. I don't. I think our strategy going forward has to be just like the Republicans or worse, so that it's the Republicans that are finally begging for legislation to return us to normalcy. Because we keep going back to that normal behavior and they keep going lower and lower and lower. They did it, with gerrymandering. The Democratic Party has come out blazing on that. Looks like Prop 50 is going to definitely succeed in California. Keep hammering away. Kudos to you people for fighting so hard. If you don't know what Prop 50 is, it's taking California from a nonpartisan redistricting board to a redistricting, having the redistricting done in the legislature. Whoever controls the legislature, which would be Democrats in this case, making it legal to draw maps that favor us, just like they do in Texas and Ohio and everywhere else. Again, until Democrats start doing what Republicans are doing, or worse, Republicans will continue to do this stuff. You can't unilaterally disarm. I mean, none of us like gerrymandering. None of us want it to happen. But if we're the only people in the room that aren't doing it, that's called losing. Chase Joshua, yeah, glad to hear this one too. If y'all don't know, Curtis Yarvin, he's the nutter. We had a segment on the show about him. He's the nutter that they JD Vance, Peter Thiel, all of them subscribe to this guy. He's supposedly the brains behind the unitary executive idea. He said he's packing his shit and leaving. They shot their shot, and he says he feels like democracy didn't die, and he doesn't think he's going to be safe because he really sees the writing on the wall. He sees Democrats coming out with guns blazing and winning the next election, and he doesn't want to be here for it. So he is packing his shit and leaving the country. And I say, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Now, another one that's probably going to end up in Russia or a Russia satellite state. Monica Meadows, have you heard anything about the letters from Trump has sent to 10 colleges to make 10 demands for funding? Yes. And I heard that Gavin Newsom responded that said, if you do it, I'll cut off your state funding. Again, no more high road. No more high road. These people like Columbia University and these people that are pandering to this shit, it's over. It's over. We're either going to do it right and you are going to fight with us to keep the standards up, to keep you independent, to keep you educating people the way you should be educating people, or we're going to do to you what they do to you. I love it, folks. I love it. Silent Sun, cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. I love it, man. Exactly where I'm at. I don't want to be on the high road anymore. When I want to jump down there on the low road, grab my fat bat and beat the shit out of them. Of course, speaking figuratively there. Not violence, just we're right. We're always in the right. It's in our nature. It's in our nature to seek out justice and decency for our fellow human beings. So when we have these arguments, we're right. Rich Lawton, looks like you're gaining 2,000 subscribers between every show. Awesome. Man, things are going great. We're about to bust 300,000. Speaking of which, take a second to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Exactly. Krista 007 Mill says the high road is how we got here. Absolutely. We stay on the high road and they nominate a 30-year-old know-nothing right-wing shit poster to run the office of special counsel. No. And then they'll look at me like I'm insane because I openly say I want my next attorney general to be a partisan Democrat. I want my next attorney general to be a partisan Democrat. None of that nonpartisan shit. That's over. Republicans killed that. Peter, Texas Paul, I'm torn knowing our federal tax dollars are paying for ice, a ballroom, a UFC ring, Qatari jet. None of that is helping Americans. None of it is. That's who the Republicans are. Thank you for the big support, my friend. I appreciate you, brother. $50 is a lot of money. I'm truly grateful. George Allen, always here, my brother. Yes, Prop 50 from Cali, from a Cali resident. Amen. Prop 50, get out there, vote, man. Do everything you can to help that pass. It is important that we fight on equal footing with the Republicans. Omniscient Sphinx. What I want to see come out of the Democratic is what we saw in the Clone Wars when the ship was being loaded. Up. Don't know exactly what you mean by that, brother. I don't exactly know what reference you're talking about. Moyo One, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. You know, I actually thought about that. How freaking great would that be? Ben Meiselas for Attorney General. Yeah, I got to get on that, man. I do. I've got to get on that. How freaking great would that be? Ben Meiselas or Karen Ignifilo, somebody like that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, people. I'm glad to see we're on the same page. I'm glad to see we're on the same page. I really am, because I'm telling you, this is not good. This is the statement from Leticia James. Forgive the video quality here. It's a little pixelated. I'm sorry, but you'll get the idea.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country.
You get the idea. You get the idea. And I just want to remind you, Leticia James was looking at a case where Donald Trump defrauded people for millions. He literally, changed the value of his properties. He changed the value of his properties, revalued his properties upward when he was applying for loans, downward when he was paying taxes. He added another floor to his apartment, basically. I mean, there was just blatant, gross, open, documented on paper in front of you to the tune of millions of dollars. That is why they pursued that case. And it was a state case, by the way, not federal, state. I'm telling you, they opened a door here, and I am more than happy to walk through it. Catherine Ryan, the next AG, definitely needs to be a hyper-vigilant partisan lawyer that enforces the law and the Constitution. Amen. 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 Bruce Burrows, did you hear Republicans could gain 19 more House seats if SCOTUS rules for Louisiana regarding voting rights on the 15th? No. Not going to happen, Bruce. Not going to happen, Bruce. It's not. Even with the ruling, it's not. You have to understand, folks. People are pissed. Momentum is on our side. This is why they want us talk. This is why there are troops going into Portland. This is why there are troops going into Chicago. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're gonna declare martial law and stop us from voting." No, it's a narrative. Because if we're talking about that, what are we talking about? Immigration. We're talking about immigration. And that is the only thing that they have going for them with their base is immigration. The economy's in the shitter. Hell, I was going to talk to you later about the show, but I'll tell you now, the oil industry is laying off thousands of people. All these little roughnecks that are out there, these are Trumpers, man. I got to tell you, you go out into the oil fields, they are Trumpers. They are Trumpers because they believe the Democratic Party wants to kill the oil industry. They don't know shit. That they repeat stuff that they hear on the job site from the old timers that don't know shit about politics. They don't. The most successful times ever, business-wise and for the actual workers in the oil industry, has always been when Democrats are in power. Always. It's just a fact. That drill, baby, drill only happens when there are Democrats in power. Republicans are in power, layoffs out in the oil fields because the economy's tanking. They're not drilling new wells. Raymond Weaver watching the Virginia governor's debate last. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Sears is the definition of a right-wing nutter. Oh, yeah, brother. Oh, yeah, that was a good debate. I don't know if you folks saw it. I don't know if you folks saw it, but it was good. It was good. Got a couple more comments here I want to read before we move on to the next subject. Watching I just talked about that. 1 second. Agent Kate. Make assholes go away. MAGA. Yep. You know, MAGA is if you took mental illness, domestic terrorism, and our participation trophy and wrapped it all up in one. It really is. I mean, I don't know about you. Are you sick of the bullshit grievance problems of middle-aged MAGA white people? I don't know about you, but I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of the whining. I'm tired of the whining. You know, you've got life by the tail, every opportunity out there. And all you do is bitch and whine. Just shut up and sit down. That too, Brutus. Has Merrick Garland hit puberty yet? We need a fighter. Oh, man. Kate Marylight, you heard Trump lost the Nobel Prize to a woman in Venezuela, that has been fighting for democracy in her country for years. I had not heard. I know the announcement is today. Is that who is that? We'll talk about that on Sunday's show. We will. We'll talk about the Nobel Prize on Sunday's show. Today's the announcement, by the way, folks. So, yeah, everybody's been prepping for the ketchup to fly. Oatmeal pancake. I think you missed my question, but happy to donate. What are your thoughts about Dominion voting machines being acquired? We're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. And the headlines are a bit misleading, my friend. They are. George Allen, between you and Julie Johnson, I'm inspired to join local Dems. Hey, I'm glad you're here, folks. I'm glad you're here. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. Kathy Young, we will never do away with oil, but we need to augment our energy supply. Amen. Amen. Well said. Donna Arnold, donating in my mother's memory. She hoped to live to see him go to prison. She passed on 10/7 at the age of 90. I'm so sorry, Donna. I am so sorry. You know, losing a parent. I know when my mom and dad died both times, it's like a bomb went off in your world. You know, when you see those movies where an explosion happens and everything gets into slow motion and that's what it felt like for me. I know you're going through hell over that. I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. We got a statement here from Hakeem Jeffries. I want to read the important part here on the Leticia James prosecution. I'll just read the whole thing. I was only going to read the part at the bottom, but this Greg Sargent, by the way, shared this. This is from Greg Sargent on Blue Sky. He's a great follow. You need to follow him. Today, Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries released the following statement. The baseless indictment of New York Attorney General Leticia James is part of Donald Trump's corrupt weaponization of the criminal justice system against anyone who has sought to hold him accountable. Attorney General James has courageously been at the forefront of successfully challenging the Trump administration's lawless and deeply unpopular overreach. At all times, she has followed the facts, applied the law, and been guided by the Constitution. The malicious prosecution of Attorney General James has no legitimate basis in law or fact, was brought by a corrupt political hack. Well said, sir, and will not survive scrutiny in a court of law. No, it will not. It's going to go down in flames immediately. Donald Trump continues to disgrace the presidency and the Department of Justice. Those sycophants who aid and abet the president's vengeful schemes will not be able to hide from serious legal consequences of their behavior. They will be held accountable. Talking to you, Lindsey Halligan, talking to you. That is the next Speaker of the House calling you out directly. And I love it. I love it. I love that they're reminding people, the Supreme Court may be trying to give the president immunity, but you ain't got immunity. All you people around him, you do not have immunity. You're responsible for your actions. And I'm telling you, the Democrats are coming out swinging, and it's on an unrelated subject, but here's Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, J.D. Vance calls Chuck Schumer one of the most famous Palestinians, being openly bigoted and racist, just who they are. That's the vice president of the United States saying that shit, quoted in New York Post. Chuck Schumer comes out with this. I love this. Someone like J.D. Vance, who has been on the receiving end of a lot of insinuations, should know to couch his language more carefully. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love it. I know. Kudos, Chuck Schumer. Kudos to Chuck Schumer. Oh my God. I'm telling you, like when you see those World War II movies, and we were talking about like the attack on Pearl Harbor, and there's always this scene where either Yamamoto or somebody, I fear we have awakened a sleeping giant. You remember those lines in those movies? Yeah, that's what's happened. The Democratic Party is here for the kicking ass contest, and I'm loving it. I am loving it. How will MAGA react when Trumpenstein's proof is out? Yeah, I'm telling you, the Epstein stuff is coming out, folks. I'm telling you, the Democrats have figured this out. Hey, you know what? We got a couple people that we don't care. If they're dirty, they're dirty. Burn them. But there's a whole lot of people in these Epstein files that are massive Republican donors. A lot of politicians, the cult leader himself is all over the Epstein files. So much so that they have had to turn around and have special agents go through the files to flag all the places that Donald Trump was in these files. Yeah. That is real, folks. The Democratic Party is coming out swinging, and I'm loving it. Gregory Brown, you got to get in the mud if you have to fight pigs. Amen, brother. Well said. Well said. Well said. But yeah, the tide is turning, man. The tide is turning. You got Daily Beast coming out, punching Donald Trump in the throat. They got a picture of Marco Rubio handing, how they get the pictures of the notes and stuff like that. Turns out old Donald Trump, they were right. Everybody's been saying they'll put out a post that's lucid with no misspellings, that kind of stays on subject. And they'll say, Donald Trump didn't write that one. Donald Trump didn't write that one, because you can compare it to ones where he actually did sit and write it. And over here, he's meandering and nutty and crazy, and the verbiage is, Donald Trump verbiage. You could tell, but this one over here made sense. Yeah, they busted. It's over. It's out. It's out. It's all out. Marco Rubio got caught handing Donald Trump a note that they got on camera that said, "Mr. President, we need you to approve this post on Truth Social so that you can claim credit for the Gaza peace deal. The Gaza peace deal. We want you to get ahead of all the announcements so that you can claim credit for it." Yeah, Donald Trump's not handling the social media. And two, let me just address the Gaza peace thing. It's not happening. It's not happening. Benjamin Netanyahu last week couldn't survive peace. This week, he cannot survive peace. He is corrupt. He is too far gone. He is going to go to prison if he loses power. He cannot survive peace. In peace, he loses power. It's that simple. So next week, he cannot have peace. Israel is going to have to come to a decision. Do they want to survive, or do they want Netanyahu? You can't have both. He's a war criminal, and he knows it. So no, there isn't going to be a peace deal in Gaza. There just isn't. There's already backpedaling about handing over the hostages. It fell apart as fast as it was announced. Uncle Fatty, polish for the fact bat, Insurrection Act, Plenary Authority, Yeah, I know what you mean there, brother. It's plenary authority. Oh, Steve Miller, let the cat out of the bag. I hope MAGA doesn't eat the cat again. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that in the last show, and Stephen Miller declaring that Trump is all powerful and has plenary authority. And then CNN coming along and cleaning it up, editing that part out when they posted it online. I love that you people catch this stuff. I really do. I mean, y'all are the freaking best, man. Phyllis Rayleigh. Maria Corina Machado, a Venezuelan politician, has won the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. The awards committee announced Friday. Machado is a documentary advocate and opposition leader who spoke up to Maduro. Yeah, they have been. They actually came after her a couple times. They've come after Machado a couple times. They tried to arrest her, I think, about 6 months ago, and missed her. They ended up arresting one of the Venezuelan politicians that aids her. It went viral. They arrested him at his house. But yeah, she is something else. I'm glad to see she won. That is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for being on top of those things, folks. I appreciate you. When I'm prepping for the show, I can't keep track of what news is breaking. This happened. You want to talk about the fact that we've got a pudding brain president that doesn't know shit, surrounded by people that are just the worst people. I'm telling you, folks, it's going to be bad. The shit they do is going to be bad, but we're going to win because they suck this bad. I'm going to play you a clip here of Robert Kennedy Jr., and I want you to listen to what he says right at the end.
Some studies that show the countries that use the most at the highest level.
I apologize. I really do apologize. This is not an audio problem. He really does talk like this. He's got a throat problem, and he really does talk like this all the time. Nothing I can do about it, folks. That's just the way the man talks.
Some studies that show the countries that use the most at the highest level of autism. Cuba has the lowest level in the world of acetaminophen use, and it has the lowest autism rate in the world. So this is not dispositive. It is not proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof. And some studies that show the countries.
Did you hear that? Let me play that last part again.
Proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof. And
we're doing the studies to make the proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof. That ain't how studies work, asshole. That ain't how any of this works. You do the studies to find facts, and then you just accept the facts. You don't go and pay nutters, which is what our tax money is doing. Is they've come up with a narrative. Now they're going to go fund studies with unethical people to make the proof. No, that is not how any of this works. That is not how science works. That is not how decency works. That is not how we get decent medical outcomes for people. No, not how any of this works. But they cannot help but say the quiet part out loud. They cannot help themselves. This is who they are. They are just low people. They are low people. They're low quality, low character, low morals. We're going to win this simply because our opposition are morons. George Allen, they go low, we go high. We used to think that they were talking about smoking her. Yeah. But truthfully, people have woken up. They have. Hell, we just flipped the mayor's office in Fairbanks, Alaska. You remember I was telling you about how those oil people are all hardcore right-wingers? Yeah, that's Fairbanks, brother. Fairbanks is military and oil field workers, man. There is nothing. No. This is not blue territory. It is now. It is now. We just flipped the mayor's office. And that's why I'm telling you, you have to get involved. You personally, talking to you personally have to get involved. Because we're doing this. We got Kendall Scudder here in the state of Texas who is fighting every single race from I'm talking dog catcher to governor. There's a Democrat they're going to put in every single race. And it's your job to make it happen. Nobody. The power is with the people. Always. It is with the people. You have to get involved. And the wind is at our backs. We're doing it, brother. We are doing it. We are doing it. We are killing it. Loving your comments. Forgive me, I have to pause and scroll back through because they're slipping by me. Gregory Brown, they're too stupid to veil their bullshit. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, folks. That is a fact. That is a fact. We're not dealing with the brightest people. All they have is bigotry. And again, I'm going to go back to Portland. I'm going to go back to Chicago. I'm going to go back to putting the guards in D.C. This isn't about everybody's like, oh, it's martial law. No, it's about the narrative, people. That's one thing that the people in the MAGA camp understand. The narrative is everything. That's why that's why they're saying openly bigoted shit, because they understand their people. Their people are bigots, and they look at that. Okay, you look at troops in American cities, and you're horrified. You're horrified. You're like, I cannot believe we're here, because we're not the same people. We're not. We're not the same people. You see a president trying to put troops into an American city as oppression and something horrible that you cannot believe is happening. The MAGA base loves it because they see brown people getting hurt. Yeah. So while we sit and argue and talk about those troops, MAGA's loving it. This is a net positive for Trump, even though he's losing. You're thinking, woo, we're winning, man. We're winning. Yeah, well, we are. And we're winning for the American people. But we have to be mindful. We're solidifying his base. Because if they win, they're like, woo, we're strong and powerful. If they lose, the narrative in MAGA land is we love illegal immigrants, and we just wanted to stop the president from deporting all those criminals that are out here. Tren de agua. You hear them say it all. It's Tren de agua, but they say Tren de agua. Suddenly, every immigrant becomes a cartel member, and they're afraid in their little neighborhood that the brownies are coming. Yeah, folks, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with their base. They really do. They're horrible people. And we have to be aware. We have to be aware. This is where we failed in the last election. This is where we failed. We got so excited amongst ourselves and the possibility for such great things that we forgot to look at how fucking horrible those people are. And where they really are. So be mindful. We'll win this. We'll do right by the country. We will make sure that our cities aren't occupied. But always remember, it's about the narrative. They want you talking about those troops there because either way it goes, it's a win for them with their base. Cecile Kazemi, the Trump regime never confuses the issues with the facts. They can't build their lie-filled narrative any other way. Amen, sister. Amen. Amen. We have to be clear about that. We have to be clear about that. We do. We just have to be completely clear about the fact that we are not the same people. We are not the same. And a perfect example is we just had a debate. We just had a debate in Virginia. And this, I'm telling you, folks, the wind is at our back. We're about to take the Virginia governor's office. We are. We're about to take the Virginia governor's office. Abigail Spanberger is doing a great job. George Allen, that was a great imitation of RFK Jr., but he ain't funny. Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. That actually hurts my throat when I do that. That's hard to do. Oh my God. But yeah, this was I'll just play you one clip. This is from the Winsome Earl Sears Abigail Spanberger debate last night. It's the only one they're having. And Abigail Spanberger just absolutely demolished Winsome Earl Spears in that debate.
The same.
No matter who is leading the
and
charge
so
on
when
what?
it is important that all
When
of us set
someone
a better
showed a
example.
sign that
And
said,
so
"If I did not
importantly,
drink
no
from
matter
the water
who
fountain,
is
it took you a whole
providing
day to say
the comments
something,
that
Abigail.
are
move on,
advocating
but it's
for
difficult
political
for us
change.
to hear.
She has
if
no
you're both
courage.
talk-
You
but it's-
cannot be governor. No courage.
The audience can't hear when you're talking over each other, so we just want to make sure
Excuse
that
me,
we
I
limit
was
that
not
so
talking
people can
over
hear.
her.
She has no courage.
We're
Okay.
going to the next topic
Yes,
now.
we are moving on to the next topic with Tom on.
That was the entire debate. Winsome Earl Sears made no significant points whatsoever, just tried to overtalk Abigail Spanberger the entire time. But Abigail Spanberger, on every point that came out, never let herself be interrupted, made her points. Clearly, you could hear her voice over a dumb, useless, ridiculous attack by Winsome Earl Sears. She looked childish and petty and out of control, and she lost the race last night. She did 100%. 100%. It's over. It's over. We need to get to work for Abigail Spanberger and get the boots on the. There's nothing left but the boots on the ground and the turnout effort. That's it. The narrative, like I said, is so important. Last night just buried Winsome Earl Sears, buried herself. They were talking about, you know what? Let me just give you, I'll find you another clip. I tried not to play too many video clips, but this is important. This is Abigail Spanberger talking about Winsome Earl Sears' positions on gay marriage. 1 second. Stick with me. There's going to be a little dead air here while I find you this video. I should have had it. I should have had it for you. I should have. All right, here we go. No, that's too short. That's just one. That is only 7 seconds of it. I want a good 20, 30-second clip. Yeah, doggone it. Let me see if I can find it. There's so many of them out there. Why can't I just pop one up? Okay, here we go. Got it. About 30 seconds long, not too long. Got it. Good. Just to give you an idea how the over talking didn't work, that the Abigail Spanberger got her point across every time. Thanks, Mary. I appreciate you. I hear that a lot. But yeah, Abigail Spanberger just buried her last night. And Winsome Earl Sears, I don't know why she thought this tactic was going to work. It just makes her look. I guess the right word would be weak. It makes her look weak, like she can't stand on her ideas.
My opponent was asked about her record of discrimination, and importantly, my opponent has previously said that she does not think that gay couples should be allowed to marry. She has said that she is
discrimination.
quote unquote morally
That's not
opposed
Earl Sears,
to
this is
same-sex
Ms.
marriage.
Spanberger's time for
My
rebuttal.
opponent has also previously said that she thinks it's okay for someone to be fired from their job for being gay. That is
That's not
discrimination.
Ms.
No.
Spanberger, your time is up. And now, Ms. Earl Sears, it's
My opponent was asked about
That's not discrimination. Yeah, it is. It's textbook discrimination. Sherry Papura, nowhere to go but up. They have woken up a giant and he's pissed. Yep. That's why I say stay angry, people. Stay angry. I mean, it feels good to watch something like this, to watch that debate, to see Abigail. You've got a qualified candidate like Abigail Spanberger, and then you've got Winsome Earl Sears that just has no business being on that stage. She just has no business running for governor. She doesn't. She just doesn't. I mean, just watching her last night, her performance, she was lost. Just lost. She made no points last night. It's just done. And I know it feels good. It does. It does. But don't get content. Stay mad, people. Stay pissed, because this is who these people are. There's a lot of people that are really, 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 really upset. You know, before we get to this one, I want to stick on that topic of how the winds have changed. I, for God's sakes, felt like I woke up in Bizarro World. I did. I did. I thought I woke up in Bizarro World. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the elevator flatulator, went on CNN and was the voice of reason. No shit. She called out her own leadership. She spoke, dare I say, eloquently on how people are being hurt by these cuts, and that a deal should have been made, that we shouldn't be shut down. I mean, I was like, that can't be. Holy shit. I mean, really, no, I'm telling you, this is her. I'm not going to be able to play the whole clip because CNN will hit me with a copyright ding and make me take it down if I play that long of a video, but I'll play part of it and you'll get the idea.
Poll. It shows that 47% of Americans believe that President Trump and the Republicans are mainly responsible for the shutdown. You see it here on the screen, compared to just 30% of Americans who blame Democrats. Of course, Republicans are the ones with the power. Do you agree with Americans in that poll that see the shutdown as your party's fault?
You know what? I don't think the shutdown is popular for either side. And so I see the shutdown completely different from maybe my party leadership. And I'm not putting the blame on the president. I'm actually putting the blame on the speaker and Leader Thune in the Senate. This should not be happening. And I don't think...
What? I mean, that whole clip. You can go back and find it all over social media. That was the tone through the whole clip. I mean, I was just literally rubbing my eyes. I am not looking at Marjorie Taylor Greene here. And she goes on to say this.
I'm one of those that gets real tired of political drama when it's not actually solving a problem. And this is such a crisis that I'm willing to say, okay, everyone, we have to do something about this. It shouldn't be something that we dangle the American people or military pay or all of these things. We shouldn't be dangling them back and forth. We have to fix it.
It's very.
I'm going to need to put some whiskey in my coffee. I'm going to have to put some whiskey in my coffee because I cannot believe I am sitting here watching Marjorie Taylor Greene talk about not liking drama. and that we should be focusing on taking care of Americans. We should be what? You talk about knowing that the political winds have changed. Kathy Young, Marjorie Taylor Greene must have hired a competent campaign manager. I don't know, man. Wow. I mean, wow. Glenn Kaneko, her kids are being directly affected by the ACA increase. Probably. It's got to be something like that. I mean, I don't think that, leopards don't change their spots, man. They don't. Tigers don't change their stripes. Vincent Saravo, the nation's starting to understand that this far-right movement is at war with the Constitution, not purple hair liberals. Constitution is woke. Amen. I think a lot of people are actually starting to wake up. Unfortunately, we can't be complacent because, take the farmers. Take the farmers. There's a lot of Democrat farmers. This is from a Democrat farmer. Again, who is out there busting his ass to put food on our table. Yeah, right now as we speak, he's out in the field. That's what he's doing right now. He can't be in the audience right now because it's harvest time. But the Republicans, the MAGA farmers, I don't hear them having that moment of clarity. I don't hear them waking up. I just don't hear them waking up. I don't hear it happening. I don't hear them realizing that it's not okay. It sounds more to me like a large share of them, and we're gonna win over some of them. We are. I mean, this is the second time this has happened to them. We're gonna win over some of them. But it sounds to me like the minute they get their bailout, they're going to go back to their bigoted bullshit. They're going to go back to being Republican sycophants again. Rena Scott, I don't trust Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments right now. She sees what is happening to the MAGA cult. She will say whatever she needs to keep her seat. Yeah, I kind of suspect I was watching a really good political strategist the other day, and he was talking about, not the other day, last night, because this really, I'm not kidding. I saw this and I was like, wow, this is huge. To see someone that dyed in the wool MAGA talking that way, because she went on to talk about basically deep-seated Republican policies that were wrong. And someone brought up a good point that they don't think that she's come around to the light, that they think that she has latched onto a strategy, just kind of like how Republicans made some inroads into the unions, and you've got like the Teamsters that back Trump, that this is a ploy to try to sell that compassionate conservatism shit, where they come out and they mouthpiece things like this, but then turn around and do the same exact shit that they've always done that hurts people. That they're really afraid that this may be MAGA learning that they can't just be openly bigoted and openly hateful and that, I don't know. We'll have to watch this. This might be an effective strategy play. It might be. As somebody that's, likes to look at things from multiple perspectives, not just as a human being, not just as a grandpa, not just as, I like to get into that political mode. Yeah, if they can learn to start talking this way, because their policies never change. I mean, look at Lisa Murkowski and all of these supposedly moderate Republicans. They come out and they talk the talk every time, but then they turn around and vote the horrific way. Kim P. HR Guru says Marjorie Taylor Greene needs to blame Trump too. Yeah, that'll never happen. They'll never blame the cult leader. George Allen, that sounds Irish. Oh, brother. Heidi Gordon, Superwoman in the house. She's come a long way since Gazpacho Police. Yeah, and Jewish space lasers. Yep. Jeff Schuler, I have worked and lived in Marjorie Taylor Greene I have worked and lived in MTGs for, I'm thinking you're saying her district. It will be one of the worst areas for insurance premium hikes. She is covering her political ass. Amen. Georgia is going to be hit. There's no way around the numbers. Georgia is going to be hit really freaking hard if these ACA, they come out and they talk shit about the Affordable Care Act and how it's socialism and all this other shit. But it's Georgia is going to be hit about as hard as it is anybody. But yeah, folks, there's a thing going around on social media. I really don't like this. I'm not a fearmonger. I am not a fearmonger. I am not. Forgive me. I got to move a couple things here. I am not a fearmonger. When I see something that scares the shit out of me, and I tell you I'm scared, be scared. Be scared. It's real. It's real. I got to get to my notes. But yeah, let's talk about Scott Leyendecker for a second. People are in full freak out mode by this, and the posts that are going up are not there. It's not what they're saying it is. It's just not. It's just not what they're saying it is. It's just not. Rebel Alliance here says, Texas Paul, can you comment on the Purple Revolution movement? Have you heard of it? Purple Revolution. Yeah. Well, a lot of y'all have brought it up. It's not something but if you really want me to, I'll do it on Sunday's show. I'll do it on Sunday's show. We'll get into the beginning of it and everything, and we'll walk through it. I really don't like the fearmonger. I don't. And the stuff that's coming out around this is a lot of fear-mongering. Former GOP election official buys Dominion voting systems, says he'll push for paper ballots. There's been this fear that somehow Elon Musk jacked the last election, and even though the exit polling showed what the results were, and I've told you over and over again that it was us, we didn't turn out, that we made the mistake that I did. We got into our own narrative, our own bubble, and we didn't pay attention. There's a lot at our feet that we need to deal with so that it doesn't happen in the next election. But there's been this just strong belief that it was stolen. They tinkered with the election machines and stole it. Elon Musk stole it. This headline is very much being presented through that lens. And what you're seeing on social media is a lot of people really, really, really being scared for clicks. That's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on here. Scott Leyendecker, yeah, he's a partisan Republican. He is. He's also a very, very rich dude. And he was, yes, he was a GOP election. I believe he was the head of the GOP in St. Louis, the Board of Elections. He was the head of the Board of Elections in St. Louis. Nobody is screaming St. Louis was stolen. I mean, that's, just stick with me, folks, okay? Mary McCabe, Trump is a Mad King Ludwig. Russell Vought is who I'm worried about. And Stephen Miller, amen. Smart. That's who you need to be worried about. Trump isn't running shit. He's got dementia. He is gone. It's the people around him that are running things. This is No Ink. This is No Ink. This is Scott Leyendecker's company. When you go to vote and they take your ID, I don't know if it's where you are, but here in Texas, when you go to vote, it's the same in almost every state. that, I know some of you have mail-in ballot and don't deal with this, but if you go to vote, you walk in, you hand the person your ID, and they put it on a pad, and they scan your ID, and then they hand you a ballot. That pad, that's made by No Ink. That's Scott Leyendecker. That's been going on for a while. His company made the terminals, the pads, they call them voting pads, that they use to check people in at the polls. That's what No Ink does. It's not a stretch for a company in that industry to buy a voting machine company. It's not. And here in the state of Texas, we have voting machines, but you have a paper ballot that you slide into the machine. And then when you're done, it asks you, are you done? Are you sure? Verify, are you sure you're done? Okay, here's your choices. Make double sure. And then you click yes, and then it prints your ballot out. Then you take that ballot over to another machine where there's a poll worker there, and they feed your ballot in, and it counts your votes. Kind of like a Scantron. Remember Scantrons in school where you fill out, that kind of deal. That's how it works. It's not a reach for Leyendecker's company, No Ink, to buy Dominion. It's like freaking out because, somebody, like when Elon Musk Tesla completely wrecks Tesla, it's not going to go away. Another car company is going to buy Tesla. That's what's going to happen after when Elon Musk is done destroying Tesla. One of the other car companies will buy it, will absorb it. This is kind of the same thing here. But it's being presented as, oh my God, this guy that loves Trump and he's a Republican, he now controls our voting systems. Oh, it's over. No. Folks, let me be clear about something. The exit polling matched the results that we got out of the election. It just did. We fucking lost. We lost because we lost the script. We didn't pay enough attention to them and what they were excited about, because people don't vote to say thank you. They vote to say fuck you. And they had a message to their people that was very much motivating in that respect. And we lost that. We were so excited about everything that we'd gotten done and how great we're doing with the economy and nobody votes to say thank you. And we put ourselves in the position in the last election of being aren't we doing a good job? Go vote for us and say thank you. That's why we lost. But I promise you, going into the 2026 midterms, if all of the sudden, like I said, we just flipped it. We're flipping seats all over the place. We are overperforming in every election. If all of a sudden, after this guy buys Dominion, that momentum just stops, that would be it. That would be it. That would be the end of democracy. And they know it. Because if democracy ends, it's might makes right, and whoever has the most force. And they don't want that. I'm going to tell you something. Somebody like Scott Leyendecker doesn't want that. He doesn't want you and me out there with torches and pitchforks, which is exactly what would happen if we go into this next election and we don't see the results that we know are coming. Because we're on the fuck you side of the equation now. And they're on the thank you side of the equation now. They're relying on their voters to show up and say, thank you for us hurting all those brown people for you. Oh, they may love it, but people don't vote to say thank you. They don't. On the other end of it, our side is watching troops trying to go into the cities. We're watching them destroy our economy. We're watching them. We have a lot of reasons to say fuck you when we vote in 2026. I'm telling you, the wind is at our back. It is. But there are people on our side, and I won't call them out. I won't call them out. I live by the 11th commandment. Speak no ill of no Democrat. I apply that to left-wing people, influencers and commentators. And I do. I apply it to that. When they make a mistake like this and go out and try to get some clicks by selling a fear article like this, it sucks and it's stupid. And I will sit in this chair and I will tell you directly to your face, you have nothing to fear here. Nothing. It makes perfect sense for knowing to buy Dominion, just from a business standpoint. It makes perfect sense. But I will not sit there and go out and try to garner clicks over stupid shit. And a lot of people will, folks, even on our side. Even on our side. So when you see these stories out there, you're going to see a lot of people in the comments that are really scared. They are. And I understand that. Be vigilant. Be vigilant. Work with your local Democratic Party so that they can have a good grasp of how many of our people are showing up, because that's how we know. That's how we keep this legitimate, folks. And you know what? Paper ballots isn't a bad thing. Here's the double-edged sword of what they're trying to do here, okay? What Leyendecker is trying to do is basically make nationwide systems like they have here in Texas. It's a hybrid system. I have voting machines, but my voting machines print a paper ballot. I walk in, I check in, I go to my machine, again, just to rehash it. I go to my machine, it's on a machine. Every candidate is on there. I select who I select. Then I review it. And that's the most important step right there, is to have a list before you go in. Don't make your decisions in the voting booth so that you have to remember everybody that you decided to vote for. Go through the races. That's what I do. Go through the races before I walk in and make my choices. And I have a list when I walk in so that I can just beep, 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 and I don't hold up that voting booth, because I know the more people we get in to vote, the better off we do. And then at the end, there's a screen where you double check your choices. And then you say, okay, hit print. And then I look at my ballot and make sure that it printed right. And I take it over and turn it in. That's not a bad thing, because if there's a question, there's a paper trail. And I mean a paper trail. So this is one of those things that kind of like the release of the Epstein files, where they thought it was really going to help them. And then it came time to do it. And they're like, oh shit, this is going to hurt. We're not going to do that. A paper trail is a good thing. Here's the double edge of that sword where it hurts us. Republicans aren't going to try to end democracy because it ends their legitimacy and it means we go straight to a kicking ass contest. They don't want that. They want to rule over something. And if they try to do that, even if they were to win, they would be ruling over nothing. They'd be ruling over ash. They don't want that. They want some semblance of legitimacy. So they're not going to try to end us voting. They aren't. What they're going to do is what they always do, which is cheat. They're going to challenge your registrations. They're going to try to use signature matching to challenge your registrations. They're going to try to get you kicked off of the polls, kicked off the voting rolls, pardon me. They always do that. You have to be vigilant with your registration. You have to have your paperwork in advance. You have to have your shit wires straight. They're going to try to peel off as many of us as possible before we vote. Then, when we do vote, they're going to reduce the number of voting machines in districts that lean our direction and increase the number of voting machines in red districts. I've said this over and over again. I'm in a red district. I've never waited to vote. There was one election, I should say never. There was one election where I waited just a couple minutes. I mean, literally just a couple minutes. I walked up, there was a line that was, probably 50, 60 deep. And they had more than a dozen voting machines available. And we just blazed through that. I mean, it literally took just a couple minutes to vote because I'm in a red district. In a blue district, very different story. Very different story. You can wait an hour. You can wait 2 hours. You can wait 4 hours in a blue district. That's how they'll cheat. But it's not going to be anything that makes the entire process illegitimate. They're not going to do that. They're not going to monkey with the machines. I'm putting my credibility on the line, and I'm telling you, if we do the work, if we are disciplined, if we are angry enough, we've got this. We do. We've got this. Mr. Knudsen, Marge Space Laser is positioning herself to inherit the MAGA base after Trump's passing. She's putting on quite a convincing show, championing the same disaffected crowd that helped her get elected. Well said, sir. Well said. Which is exactly what I believe also. I mean, you nailed it. Well said. Vincent Saravo, think a pro-gun Democrat would do well under these circumstances and be the constitutional. Yeah, I do. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. The gun control movement in our party has too much voice. It does. And again, not because they're not right. It's not about right or wrong. It's not. It's about winning elections. And there are so many people out there, folks. You have no idea how many people. Go watch some gun videos on YouTube. Just do a search for HKVP9 or, Walther PDP, just any Glock 19 review, and then type in review and see the number of channels are people that are just absolutely love guns. Just love them, love shooting, competition shooting, love everything about them, the way they smell, the way they feel. This is what excites them. We forget as a party that those people exist. And we just seed them. And it's stupid because half of Democrats are shooters also. We couldn't pass this legislation if we wanted to, but we're dying on this electoral cross. That's just my take on it. Not that they're not right, not that they're not making valid points. It's just you've got to win elections, people. Jeanette Dahl, where I see the biggest fraud in your election system in the United States is that you can throw people off the voter rolls, people who have the right to vote. Yes, that would be a huge focus for us because we catch them every time in caging operations. We catch them every time trying to kick people off the voting roll. That's a Democrat, folks, right there. That is a Democrat, Mike Servari. My firearms are all sighted, and mine are too. Clean, ready to go. I love to shoot. I do. In fact, I've got to do some work on my cussing pond. I've got I've got to rent a piece of equipment, and when I do, I'm going to upgrade my shooting range here out on the back of the property. When I dig up some clay to fix my cussing pond, I'm also going to improve my shooting range that I've got back on the back of the property. Yeah, I'm a Democrat, folks. I'm a Democrat. Victor Harshman, sorry, Donna, your ticket to heaven was just awarded to a woman from Venezuela who is actually fighting for democracy. You lose, you get nothing. Good day, sir. I love that line. I love that line. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate you. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Well, I won't bullshit you people. I'll always tell you how I feel, even if it's something that, that I feel some of you may disagree with me with. I will tell you straight facts. I will. And I will accept your different point of views. I will. This is who we are. We are a big tent. But this is reality. We're going into elections where we see so much more is on the line. So much more is on the line than our individual little beefs and differences. Democrats will run the country. Democrats will make the trains run on time. They will focus on the things that we want them focused on, not power grabs, not Project 2025, not bigotry and hurting people. They will focus on the economy. They will focus on jobs. They will focus on decency. They will focus on foreign policy that is focused on what is right and people. So let's do this, folks. Let's get it done. Let's get Democrats elected and make sure that Republicans can never do this shit again. And with that, thank you for all the support, folks. I cannot do it without you. I will say it again, but enjoy some Texas cities at night.